The groom's family laughed at her dress, whispered about her background, and treated her as though she was unworthy of standing beside their son. What they didn't know was that this quiet bride held the keys to a $950 million deal, and with a single decision, she would change all of their lives forever. The laughter began softly, snickers hidden behind jeweled hands, smirks exchanged between proud relatives. But soon it grew bolder. The groom's family made no effort to hide their disdain. They mocked the bride's modest gown, whispered about her simple jewelry, and sneered at her lack of extravagance. To them, she looked ordinary, undeserving of the wealth and status they guarded so fiercely. And yet, she stood in silence. Her eyes lowered, her breath steady, her dignity intact. Not once did she argue, not once did she bend to their cruelty. For what they did not know was that beneath the veil stood a woman who had walked through storms that few could survive. Her name was Alina. Years before, she had served her country in silence, not with a gun in her hands, but with a mind sharpened by hardship and a spirit unshakable. She had lost friends in boardrooms, just as soldiers lose comrades in battle. She had survived betrayals that carved deep scars into her trust. Yet those scars had become her strength. The faint hum of crystal chandeliers in the hall reminded her of the war rooms she once sat in, where billion-dollar contracts were signed, and where nations' futures turned with the stroke of her pen. Tonight, however, she chose silence. Because silence was power. As the family whispered louder, guests glanced uneasily at one another. No one dared speak against the groom's relatives. Their arrogance filled the hall like smoke, suffocating any chance of kindness. Alina's hands tightened around the bouquet she held, her knuckles pale, yet her face calm. "She is not one of us," muttered one aunt. "She brings nothing but shame," another said. The words stung, but not for the reasons they thought. Alina had heard far harsher insults spoken in far graver rooms. She remembered nights in cold offices, her fingers tracing contracts worth more than any of these people could dream of. She had been underestimated before, always underestimated, until the moment came when she revealed who she truly was. And tonight, that moment drew closer with every heartbeat. The ceremony moved forward, but the bitterness remained. The groom, too absorbed in his family's approval, did nothing to defend her. His silence cut deeper than their mockery. Alina realized then that his silence was not dignity. It was weakness. In that instant, a decision formed within her heart, clear and irreversible. As the priest prepared to seal the vows, Alina lifted her gaze. Her voice, soft yet commanding, filled the hall. "This marriage will not happen," gasps echoed. The groom's family froze. Calmly, she set the bouquet down. Her words carried no anger, only clarity. Respect is not bought with money or measured by gowns. It is given freely, or not at all. The silence that followed was deafening. But Alina did not stop there. With measured steps, she walked to the front of the hall and revealed the truth. "For months, I have negotiated a deal worth $950 million, a deal that your family hoped to win. I held the final signature." She paused, her eyes meeting theirs, steady, unwavering. "That deal is now canceled." The color drained from their faces. What they thought was a fragile bride had been their greatest opportunity, their silent ally. And now, their cruelty had cost them everything. Guests rose from their seats, not with laughter, but with quiet respect. No one applauded, because respect needs no applause. The silence itself became the tribute. 3 lines lingered in their memory long after she left the hall. Silence is not weakness, it is strength. Respect cannot be demanded, it must be earned. And dignity, once tested, always rises. Alina walked away that night with her head high, her future intact, and her heart unbroken. The groom's family was left to face the ashes of their arrogance. In the end, justice had not come through anger or revenge, but through quiet strength, unshakable dignity, and a single choice that changed everything. And so this story remains a reminder. True power is not loud. It does not boast. It waits in silence until the world finally sees.